السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أشهد أن لا أشهد أن لا أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله. الحمد لله إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره من يهده الله فلا مضل له فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله وجاهد في الله حق جهاده وترك البيضاء ليلها كنهارها لا يزيد عنها إلا هذه وصلى الله وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعهم بإحسان يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. It gives me great pleasure to be here and join you here. As perhaps you might know, I'm visiting you from very far away. And the gentleman that was driving me here, he said, is it okay if I ask you the topic? And I said, sure, but you might be a bit confused. He said, okay. I said, it looks like all good arrogance. So I think he wasn't really hone in on this. And it's a particularly the hadith sallallahu alaihi wasallam that I am very sure that most of you, if not all of you, have heard multiple times related to arrogance. And that hadith, it comes from one who said that he heard the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he who has in his heart an antiquated process and says antiquated of arrogance will not enter Jannah. There's no Jannah for a person that has even an antiquated. The innovation is the weight of a mustard seed. I'm sure you've heard it. Now, as the people sitting there, there was a man who was basically approaching the Prophet and he says, what about a man? What about a person? Allah, he says, what about a man who likes his clothes to be beautiful and his sandals to be beautiful? And then the Prophet responds with again a phrase that I'm sure you've heard. He says, Inna Allah Jameel wa yuhibbul Jamal. Indeed, Allah is beautiful and He loves beauty. But what's phenomenal about this hadith is that he immediately, when people extract this part of the hadith and just let you be, the Prophet continues and juxtaposes and compares beauty with arrogance by defining arrogance. He continues and says, Al-Kibar, Batul Haq, wa Batul Das. Arrogance is Batul Haq, is rejecting the truth and looking down upon me. It's the same. Small, easy to understand definition. Of course, I'm sure you've heard talks about arrogance. We know that, looking down on something that's terrible. It's kind of at the heart of racism. It's at the heart of what Shaitan was. But this other aspect of rejecting the truth, many would say that I'm Muslim, so therefore I'm and there will be times, even within our own interaction with people, that we may, in essence, reject the truth. I'll give you an example. Like for those of you who are married, the last time you had a bitter argument with your spouse, and in your heart of heart, you knew you were wrong. But guess what? You kept going with the argument, right? Why? Well, this is where the truth comes in. Even though you may understand that you're wrong. Maybe later on you realize after sleeping on the couch about it. In fact, it reminds me, there was one time a couple that was having a fight like this. It got very, very heated. So the woman, the wife, in the midst of this argument, she says to this person, she says to her husband, she says, Wallahi, I will not speak to you until you speak to me. And the husband retorted, responded, Wallahi, I will not speak to you. This conversation is happening at a time when people took their own seriously. Not like today. Today it's very superficial. Wallahi, brother, this will happen. So billah, this will so on and so on. But in those days, both were very serious. So of course, after this argument, they, perhaps go there, they go to the council. They celebrate. Stay up with the practice is regret. It's over. And now, what do I do? So he goes to the lectures out to the scholars of the city, saying, I took this oath. Then I come speak to my wife, and she said she took the oath. What do we do? Every single scholar he goes to tells them, look, you have to give some sort of, kidya, you have to pay it off. This is a problem that this is very serious. And as he's walking back, despondent, depressed, with his head down. So this is bad. He says, let me check with one more imam. And who was that imam? Imam Abu Hanifa. So he goes to Imam Abu Hanifa, he knocks on the door, and Imam Abu Hanifa invites him in, and he tells him the situation. Imam Abu Hanifa says, go talk to your wife. Nothing. So he's happy. He's like, he's almost skipping on his way home. And as he's on his way home, he bumps into another scholar. And the scholar asks him, what did Imam Abu Hanifa tell you? So the man says, disagreeing with you. You were telling me to pay fidya and all of this. He said I could just go talk to my wife. So the man got upset. How could Imam Abu Hanifa say such a thing? Let us go together. So they go to his house, they knock on his door again. Imam Abu Hanifa asks the scholar in the state of he's a bit angry. He says, yeah, Imam, what did you tell this man? He says, well, I told you. He said, didn't you hear what he said? Didn't you listen to the situation? He said, I did. He said, how can you say such a thing? He said, tell me the situation again. So the man says, I was in an argument with you. My wife said, well, I can't speak to you, you speak to me. And I said, well, I can't speak to you, you speak to me. And we went our separate ways. So you know what he said, it's the problem. She said, well, why I'm not speaking to you and you speak to me? He said, speaking to her, Wallahi, I'm not speaking to you and you speak to me. He's fulfilled this condition. I said, he's done. So at that moment, another Imam says, Wallahi, you know, this Imam, the way things come to you, it's just truly amazing. But our point in all of this that when we look at it, it actually has a number of benefits. One of the first things is when we ask the question about what is kibar, there's a succinct, clear definition. It's rejecting the truth and looking down upon people. But the second question that arises maybe, perhaps, in somebody's mind is, why is arrogance so bad? I remember I was in a talk, it was so cool with Muslims. Questioned the audience, and she said, isn't it quite arrogant of God to demand all of his creation to worship him? And I think that's a second. Because arrogance, even in the English language, it has a very strong negative connotation. But the reality is, if you look at the word kibar, if anyone is worthy of having being mutakabbir, as one of the names of Allah is, it is Allah. He is the one that's worthy of worship. He's the one that's worthy of praise. And so you may ask, why is arrogance so bad? One of the reasons is that you are now competing with Allah. In a hadith where the Prophet mentions, this is a hadith, Qudsi, where the Prophet is quoting and the Prophet says, Allah says, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this kibr, this pride is my upper garment. And grandeur is my izam, is my lower garment. And anyone that competes with me in one of these two, meaning pride, arrogance, grandeur, he will take his seat in the hellfire. Now, let me give you a context of this. You see, in the days when Arabs would wear upper garment, it would be considered extremely disrespectful, major, it was bad taste, extremely rude to pull someone's izar off or to pull someone's upper garment off. Even today, you can imagine if you did that to someone, it would be very uncouth, very disrespectful. So the context of the hadith is as if you are doing this, yet you're doing it to Allah. Now, if that's the case, doesn't mean that there's no way in which a person can be like Allah. It sounds a bit shitty. Like be like Allah. There's nothing like unto Allah. But there's a concept where many scholars speak about taking on the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Well, as one of the scholars said, he says that this matter about the most beautiful names of Allah, the most beloved creation to him, in other words, Allah, are those who take on the characteristics of Allah. And then he continues, he says, why? Inna Allah jameel. Allah is beautiful and he loves his servants to be. He says, Inna Allah kareem wa yuhibbul karam. Allah is generous and he loves his servants to be generous. And he continues and he says, Inna Allah Alim, Allah is Al-Alim, the most knowledgeable, and He loves the people of knowledge. He loves the scholars. So taking on these attributes is part and parcel of our increasing and being better in our character. But obviously, we will never get to the point to be like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In fact, there are some attributes that we don't take on at all. I'll give you an example. You know, the concept of fasting from Allah. Like, it has such a high and it's such a high value in our deen that you really have to ask, what makes it so powerful? One of the reasons, as one of the scholars mentions, he says that when you fast, it's like you are trying to emulate, trying to copy one of the attributes of Allah, and that is al-Ghani, that He is free of all needs. Because when you're fasting, you're not eating. It's as if you don't, quote unquote, need sustenance. But what is the result of that? He says that the result of your attempt in trying to emulate the attribute of Allah, al-Ghani, is that when you break your fast, you realize your total, utter, immense dependence upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you try, but you then realize that Allah is al-Ghani. Accomplishment then arises. So, coming back to what I was saying, arrogance. He's what's a company. Again, we should emulate that. But here's where it gets very tricky. Because sometimes we are so worried about arrogance that it can be debilitating. Because we don't understand the difference